What's up, everyone? Before we dive in, I need your help. We're pushing hard to hit 1,000 subscribers, and every single one of you watching makes a difference. If you're here for the real talk, the unfiltered truth about what's happening with the Browns and Shedeur Sanders, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's build this community together. Now, let's get into it. Cleveland is losing its mind right now, and honestly, I don't blame them. Something major just went down that has the entire Browns organization scrambling. We're talking about a situation that involves Shedeur Sanders, Kevin Stefanski, and one of the most respected insiders in Cleveland sports media. The layers to this thing are insane, and when you start connecting the dots, you realize there's been something brewing behind the scenes that nobody wanted to talk about until now. So here's what happened. Mary Kay Cabot went on the radio, just a regular appearance on 92.3 The Fan, probably expecting to give some standard updates about the team. But what ended up coming out of her mouth during that interview has created an absolute firestorm. She started talking about Shedeur Sanders and his development, and at first it seemed like typical coach speak. You know the drill. He's making progress, working hard, learning the system. But then she kept going, and that's where things got interesting. She said his development has gone really well behind the scenes. Not just well, really well. And she emphasized that this is what she's hearing from people she's talked to inside the organization. Now, when a reporter with her level of access starts talking like that, you have to pay attention to the language. She's not speculating. She's not guessing. She's telling you what sources inside that building are saying, and those sources are clearly impressed with what they're seeing from Shedeur in practice. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. She goes on to say that Shedeur is making progress in every way, including in all of those ways that they really needed him to. Think about what that means. The coaching staff had specific areas they wanted to see improvement in. Maybe it was pre-snap reads, maybe it was communication at the line, maybe it was managing the offense. Whatever those areas were, Shedeur is checking every single box. He's doing everything they asked him to do. So if he's exceeding expectations in practice and developing faster than anticipated, why exactly is he still sitting on the bench? That's the question that's driving Browns fans crazy right now. And Mary Kay, whether she intended to or not, made it even more confusing with what she said next. She started listing all these technical aspects of playing quarterback, getting the play articulated, identifying the defense, helping to slide protections, managing motions, all the pre-snap stuff that happens fast at the NFL level. She said Shedeur is getting it, that he's really coming along. Again, these aren't my words. This is coming from someone who talks to coaches and front office people every single day. Now, most reporters would stop there. They'd leave it at he's developing well and move on. But Mary Kay kept talking, and this is where she basically set off a bomb in Cleveland. She said, and I'm quoting directly here, "The thing about Shedeur is he has elite accuracy." Not good accuracy. Not promising accuracy for a rookie. Elite accuracy. That's a word you use for established NFL starters, for guys who have proven they can make every throw on the field. And she didn't just say it once. She emphasized that she's written about it multiple times, said it multiple times. This isn't a new observation. This is something she's been sitting on, something the people around the team have known for a while. But then came the part that really has everyone talking. She said, and again I'm quoting, "That's the place where I think he has Dylan beat, is in the accuracy piece." Let me repeat that because it's important. Mary Kay Cabot, who covers this team closer than almost anyone, just said on the radio that Shedeur Sanders is more accurate than Dylan Gabriel. The backup is better than the starter in one of the most critical aspects of playing quarterback in the NFL. Accuracy isn't some minor detail. It's fundamental. It's the difference between completing a pass in a tight window and throwing an interception. It's what separates great quarterbacks from average ones. So now we have a situation where the team's backup quarterback, a rookie, has elite accuracy and is better than the starter in that category, while also exceeding expectations in every area of development, and he's still on the bench. Does that make sense to you? Because it doesn't make sense to a lot of people who are watching this unfold. What makes it even more suspicious is what happened immediately after she made that admission. You could almost hear her realize what she'd just said, because she immediately started backtracking. She threw in qualifiers about getting the ball out fast enough, about having time to throw, about all these other factors. Classic damage control. Then she said something that really reveals what's going on here. She talked about 7-on-7 drills and said if you put Shedeur and Dillon next to each other in a red zone situation, she thinks Shedeur would win that drill most of the time. Most of the time. So in a controlled environment, in practice situations, the rookie is outperforming the veteran starter more often than not, but somehow he's still not ready to play in games. The math isn't mathing here. And then comes the line that's supposed to make it all make sense. She says that doesn't mean he would be the better choice at quarterback right at this moment, that he has to put the whole package together. But she just spent the last several minutes telling us he's putting the package together, that he's making progress in every area they needed, that his development is going really, really well. So which is it? Is he ready or not? Because everything she described before that qualifier suggests he's absolutely ready. This is where you have to start asking questions about what's really happening inside that organization. When the media coverage starts contradicting itself like this, when you hear praise immediately followed by excuses, that's usually a sign that there are competing interests at play. On one hand, you have the truth of what people are seeing in practice. Shedeur is balling out. He's more accurate than Dillon. He's winning drills. He's mastering the offense faster than expected. On the other hand, you have the official narrative that needs to be maintained. Dillon Gabriel is the starter, the coaching staff made the right decision, everything is going according to plan. But here's the thing about the truth, it has a way of leaking out even when people are trying to suppress it, and what we're seeing right now is the beginning of that process. The practice reports have been too good to ignore. The people who watch Shedeur work every day know what they're seeing, and eventually that information finds its way to reporters, to insiders, to people like Mary Kay who have relationships throughout the building. Now let's talk about Dillon Gabriel for a second, because the host asked Mary Kay specifically if Dillon is doing what the team wants him to do. Her answer is incredibly telling. She says he's making progress, he's getting better. Those are developmental terms. That's not how you talk about your established starting quarterback who's supposed to be leading you to the playoffs. She praised him for protecting the football reasonably well in tough conditions, for not fumbling or dropping it, for managing the game well. Managing the game, that's the most damning phrase in all of football analysis. It means you're not losing games, but you're not winning them either. It means you're a caretaker, not a playmaker. And then she says something that should alarm every Browns fan. She says Dillon is going to have to start adding in some passing game and some explosives. And if he can do that, then he'll be right on track. If he can do that, we're already into the season, and the starting quarterback still needs to figure out how to add explosive plays to his game. Meanwhile, you've got a rookie on the bench who has elite accuracy and would beat your starter in drills. This is madness. Here's what I think is really going on and why this situation is so explosive. Kevin Stefanski made a decision. He committed to Dillon Gabriel as his starter, probably before the draft even happened. Maybe it was because Dillon has experience. Maybe it was because the offensive system was built with a certain type of quarterback in mind. Maybe it was just because coaches tend to trust veterans over rookies. Whatever the reason, that decision was made. Then Shedeur Sanders falls into their lap in the draft. Maybe it was Jimmy Haslam pushing for it. Maybe it was the front office, but either way, they drafted a quarterback who nobody really expected them to take. Now Stefanski is in a tough spot. He's already committed publicly to Dillon. He's already installed him as the starter. He's already built the game plans around him. But every day in practice, he's watching Shedeur do things that Dillon can't do. He's seeing that elite accuracy Mary Kay talked about. He's watching Shedeur win drills and make plays and develop faster than anticipated. So what does a coach do in that situation? If he pulls Dillon now, it looks like he made a mistake. It looks like his evaluation was wrong. It looks like he wasted everyone's time with a veteran starter when the rookie was better all along. So instead, you slow play it. You keep the rookie on the bench and say he needs more development time. You emphasize all the things he still needs to work on while downplaying all the things he's already doing well. You give him reps with the third string offensive line instead of the first team. So if he struggles, you can point to that as evidence he's not ready. You control the narrative through friendly media members who will report your version of events without asking too many hard questions. It's a calculated strategy to buy yourself time and protect your initial decision. But that strategy only works if the truth stays hidden, and in Cleveland, the truth is starting to come out. People who attend practices have eyes. They can see who's making plays and who isn't. Reporters talk to assistant coaches, to position coaches, to front office people who aren't as invested in protecting the head coach's ego, and slowly, the real story emerges. That's what happened with Mary Kay's interview. She knows what people inside the building are saying about Shedeur. She knows how good he looks in practice. She tried to report that fairly while still giving Stefanski cover, but you can't have it both ways. You can't say someone has elite accuracy and beats the starter in drills while also arguing he's not ready to play. And then there's the Jimmy Haslam factor, which might be the most important piece of this whole puzzle. Haslam is the owner. He signs the checks. He makes the final decisions. And according to multiple reports, his grandkids were spotted wearing Shedeur Sanders jerseys. Now, you might think that's just cute, just kids being fans. But in the world of NFL politics, nothing happens by accident. When the owner's family is publicly supporting your backup quarterback, that's a message. That's Haslam signaling to his coaching staff and front office that he knows who the real future of this franchise is, and it's not the guy currently starting. Haslam has never been known for his patience. He's fired coaches mid-season. He's made shocking organizational changes. He's overruled his football people before. So when you combine his apparent preference for Shedeur with the mounting evidence that Shedeur is outplaying Dillon in practice, you have to wonder how long Stefanski can maintain this status quo. Every week that goes by with Dillon managing games instead of winning them, the pressure builds. Every week that Shedeur dominates in practice while sitting on the bench, the questions get louder. Every week that fans watch a more talented quarterback waste away behind a struggling starter, the frustration grows. What makes this situation even more complicated is the role that people like Mary Kay play in shaping public perception. She's not just a reporter, she's an institution in Cleveland sports media. People trust her. They believe her sources are legitimate. So when she goes on the radio and says Shedeur has elite accuracy and would beat Dillon in drills, that carries weight. But when she immediately follows that up with excuses about why he's not starting, it creates confusion. Fans don't know what to believe. Is Shedeur ready or not? Are the coaches being honest about his development, or are they protecting their egos? That confusion is intentional, by the way. It's part of the strategy. Keep the message mixed enough that you can maintain plausible deniability. Praise the rookie enough that you seem objective, but qualify it enough that you're not directly criticizing the coaching staff's decisions. It's a tightrope walk, and Mary Kay is trying to stay balanced on it, but in doing so, she's accidentally revealed the contradictions in the organization's position. Think about it from a logical standpoint. If everything Mary Kay said is true, if Shedeur really has elite accuracy, if he really would beat Dillon in drills most of the time, if his development really is going really well in every area they needed, then the only reason he's not starting is politics. It's not about readiness. It's not about the playbook. It's not about pre-snap reads. It's about a coaching staff that doesn't want to admit they were wrong about their initial evaluation. And here's the kicker. That strategy might have worked a few years ago, before social media, before every practice was dissected online, before fan pressure could build to critical mass in a matter of days. But in today's NFL, you can't hide the truth for long. Too many people have access. Too many voices can amplify the contradiction between what's being said publicly and what's actually happening. The Browns are learning that lesson right now, and it's not going to end well for the people trying to suppress Shedeur. Because here's what's going to happen, and you can bookmark this. Dillon Gabriel is going to keep managing games. He's going to be safe, conservative, careful. He'll make the throws he's supposed to make and avoid the ones that are too risky. The Browns will probably win some games with him because they have talent around him, but they're not going to look like a team with a franchise quarterback. They're not going to have those explosive plays Mary Kay mentioned. They're not going to strike fear into opposing defenses. Meanwhile, every single week, Shedeur is going to show up to practice and dominate. The reports are going to keep leaking. More insiders are going to accidentally let the truth slip. More coaches are going to privately acknowledge what they're seeing. And the pressure on Stefanski is going to become unbearable. Then one day, maybe after a tough loss, maybe after the playoff picture starts looking grim, maybe just because Haslam runs out of patience, the decision will be made. Shedeur Sanders is going in. And when that happens, when he finally gets his chance with the first team offense, with real game plans designed around his strengths, with the full support of the organization instead of being set up with third string linemen, he's going to prove everything everyone has been whispering about. The elite accuracy will translate to game situations. Those drills where he beats Dylan will become actual touchdown passes. The development everyone praised will manifest as a rookie who looks like he's been playing in this league for years. That's the moment that's coming, and everyone involved knows it. Stefanski knows it. The front office knows it. Mary Kay knows it. That's why her interview sounded so defensive, so calculated, so full of qualifiers and excuses. She's trying to prepare people for the inevitable, while still protecting her relationships inside the organization. She's trying to explain away the contradiction of a more talented quarterback sitting on the bench. She's trying to buy time for a coaching staff that needs it. But time is running out. The truth is already out there. Shedeur Sanders has elite accuracy. He beats Dylan Gabriel in drills. His development is exceeding expectations. Those aren't rumors or speculation. Those are facts acknowledged by one of the most plugged-in reporters covering the team. And once those facts are out there, you can't put them back in the bottle. Browns fans heard them. National media picked up on them. Analysts are starting to ask the obvious questions. How long before Stefanski is forced to make the change? How long before Haslam steps in? How long before the weight of evidence becomes too heavy to ignore? My guess is not long at all. We're probably looking at weeks, not months. Maybe it happens after a bad performance by Dylan. Maybe it happens during a bye week when they can reset the narrative. Maybe it happens because Haslam simply demands it. But it's happening. The only question is timing. And when Shedeur finally takes over, when he shows everyone what people have been seeing in practice all along, there's going to be a reckoning. People are going to ask why it took so long. They're going to revisit interviews like the one Mary Kay just did and wonder why the truth was being obscured. They're going to question Kevin Stefanski's evaluation process and his willingness to stick with an inferior player for the sake of his ego. They're going to demand accountability from an organization that wasted valuable time with a rookie who should have been starting from day one. That's the real story here. Not that Shedeur is good, we already knew that from college. Not that Dylan is limited, anyone watching the games can see that. The real story is the institutional resistance to acknowledging reality. It's the way organizations protect their own decisions, even when those decisions are clearly wrong. It's the role that friendly media plays in shaping narratives that benefit the people in power rather than simply reporting the truth. It's the gap between what everyone privately knows and what gets said publicly. Mary Kay's interview exposed all of that in real time. She tried to walk both sides of the line, praising Shedeur while defending Stefanski, and in doing so, she revealed the fundamental contradiction at the heart of the Browns quarterback situation. You can't say someone has elite accuracy and beats the starter in drills while also arguing they're not ready to play. Those two positions are incompatible. One of them has to be false, and based on everything we know about Shedeur's talent and Dylan's limitations, it's pretty clear which one it is. So where does this leave us? Cleveland is sitting on a powder keg. They have a rookie quarterback who everyone inside the building knows is special, playing behind a veteran who everyone knows has a ceiling. They have a head coach trying to protect his initial evaluation, an owner whose family is literally wearing the backup's jersey, and a media member who just accidentally confirmed everything fans suspected. This situation cannot hold. Something has to give, and when it does, it's going to reshape the entire trajectory of this franchise. My advice to Browns fans is simple. Be patient, but stay loud. The people in charge need to know that you see through the narratives, that you're not buying the excuses, that you recognize elite talent when you see it. Keep demanding that Shedeur gets his shot. Keep pointing out the contradictions in what's being said publicly versus what's clearly happening in practice. Keep applying pressure until the organization has no choice but to do the right thing, because Shedeur Sanders is that guy. Mary Kay basically admitted it even while trying not to. Elite accuracy doesn't lie. Winning drills consistently doesn't lie. Development going really well doesn't lie. The truth is right there for anyone willing to see it. Now it's just a matter of time before the Browns organization stops fighting reality and embraces their future. And trust me, when that day comes, everyone who tried to delay it is going to have a lot of explaining to do.